I'm Todd Miller on your TV. Welcome back to Let's Just Do This. I'm alongside Margaret Wallis-Duffy for another stellar episode of Let's Just Do This.
Yes, it's always exciting to be next to you and our change makers across the table. And today we're in for a real treat.
Absolutely. We've brought back our friend Gerry Visca, and he has brought along Angela Kontgen, who is been a life and leadership coach for the past 10 years. Before this, she spent over 25 years in various fields of health, wellness, and fitness. But you've decided to change it up, and you're focusing on one thing, and that's meditation. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. That positively impacts every single aspect of life, from health and healing to connection, fulfillment, clarity, focus, things that I'm struggling with, and I'm sure a lot of people are, and emotional resilience. That's something that is big with a lot of people. You're on a mission to help more people meditate and make it easy, inspiring, and accessible in everyday life, and you're absolutely on fire. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we were talking off air about you two being a power couple, or what was it you said, Gerry? The pairing?
Most inspired pairing on the planet. Like a great wine and brie.
Love
You
it.
betcha.
She's the brie and I'm the wine.
Nice. And I will speak firsthand to, as a meditation coach, the impact that you have on my life and my health every day. With your everyday meditations and the Symphonies of the Mind, I got to tell you, this monkey brain some days that goes crazy in my head.
It's like a circus, isn't it?
It can be. It can be a circus, but you bring it down for me and guide me to a place that some days, quite frankly, I didn't know I could go. So we're
Thank you,
thrilled to
Margaret.
have you here.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you.
So let's talk about, just briefly, before we talk about, the Why Time Tour, I'd like to talk about your work in meditation and what does meditation mean? It can be a really kind of scary, kind of out there thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Tell us about your passion in meditation.
Okay, well, I could go on for a long time, but my real, the essence of the passion that I have for meditation is I really believe that all change begins within the mind. We're always trying to change everything external to us, and I always like to say, how's that working for us?
Yeah.
Where real change and transformation begins with the mind. And as it pertains to the inspired work that I get to do alongside Gerry, Gerry always likes to say, Gerry ignites the why, I help you live it. And so that's how we come together, and it's just been this beautiful explosion of inspiration. So I'm very grateful.
So let's talk briefly so that, when we talk about actually living our why, how meditation can actually play a role. I'm a science girl, and so I love to eat up the science. And I know many people perhaps love to hear that as well, because I think it makes us realize that not only how powerful this work is, but that it's doable because of something called neuroplasticity. Can you speak to meditation and the role that it plays in science?
Yeah, I love that. Well, Gerry always says after he ignites someone's deeper why, what's going to happen is you're going to go out into the world.
Yes.
And life's going to happen. Okay?
Yeah.
Fear's going to set in. Doubt, worry, anxiety. Your emotions are going to spiral out of control. How human of you.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's where meditation can come in, and the science, Margaret, I love that you mentioned that, is coming in to show that I don't care what aspect of life you're looking at, whether it's anxiety, emotional resilience, depression, all the things that just set in and are part of our human existence, are being positively impacted by meditation. And that's why Gerry gets so passionate. I get so passionate about, you got to get some why time, and he gets so passionate about, now you got to meditate with Angela. Because Gerry knows what'll happen after you get off the phone with him during why time. You're going to go out into that world, and the fears, the anxieties, and it's mostly from the external world. Exactly. That's going to come at you. So the science is now showing, Margaret, that there's so many, when you meditate, anxiety diminishes, the fears diminish. We talk about emotional intelligence and resilience, and science is now showing that meditation is having a positive impact in that area, so it's so brilliant, it's wonderful.
And we can actually change the brain.
totally.
And
yes.
that's why we call it a meditation practice. And I'll tell you, it is work to do. But the rewards of that work, I firsthand know the impact of that. But I need your help doing that. I do find guided meditation for me is so important because I'm not there yet to be able to just meditate on my own. I hope to be one day. But I have to tell you, we had a conversation yesterday on the phone in preparation for today. And you said something that really stuck with me because we can be so hard on ourselves. And I kept saying, oh, I need you to meditate, which isn't a bad thing. I like listening to your voice. I mean, can you hear her voice? Wouldn't you as well every day? But you said to me, I use guided meditations as well.
Yeah.
You, the guru.
I love guided meditations.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I love that
Yeah.
there's help there for others to quiet down that craziness in our head, but then to know that we're actually having a physiological impact
Yes.
on our brain
Yep.
and the way it works, and to retrain so that we can see the path forward to our why.
Yeah, totally. And that's what's really inspired me around meditation. It is the growing science around it. It's no longer this woo-woo out in the mountaintops. It's grounded in science, right? Yeah.
And being done by some of the most successful people on the planet. And really helping with all kinds of things. When we pick up the paper in the morning, which more and more I don't because there's so much negativity, but the pain that people are experiencing. One of the things that I see in my practice is meditation and the use it can have in reducing people's pain mentally, emotionally, and physically. How impressive is that?
Amazing. It
Yeah.
is. It is.
So we've got to talk about this thing called the Why Time Tour. We have had Gerry on the show before talking about igniting 1 million whys worldwide. And now you're actually, and this is what we love about Let's Just Do This, you're putting it into action. Here we make things happen, and the two of you are as well. Can you tell us about what this Why Time Tour is and why you're doing this? And then I want to get into some of the stories because it's actually happening. I want to hear some of the good stuff about what's actually happening.
Well, I'm going to start first on this, and then I'm going to hand it over to Gerry. We actually just got back from a part of our Why Time Tour. We flew back in on Monday morning, bright and early, from California and Oregon, the West Coast, where we like to say in Oregon we ignited 50 whys, in California 25 whys. And so it's about, Gerry decided years ago that he was on a mission to ignite 1 million whys. And you can say that, but the way that starts to come to life, again, why ignites the way, is through this why time. And years ago when Gerry was working on his book, I Don't Know What the Hell I'm Doing, that's when I said to him, because I saw Gerry's gift. I just saw it. And for igniting, for seeing it in another human being before they could see it for themselves. Yes. Because how human of us not to be able to see it for ourselves. So I said, you got to gift this why time with every 2 books, so one for the individual and one for them to reach out and inspire someone else. You give why time, one-on-one why time, for them to truly gain new levels of clarity. So Gerry started doing that. And then now in this past year, especially as he's launched his newest book, Remembering Why, we've created this Why Time Tour where we're touring different cities. We're linking up with really inspired individuals. Usually these individuals have had Why Time, so they're on fire. What I love about these individuals is they don't want to keep that to themselves. They want other people to experience what they've experienced.
Yeah.
And when I meet these people, I'm like blown away, like moved to tears, because it's one thing to receive it, but it's another to say, I want everybody else to get it. And so we're linking arms with these people, and they're going, yeah, let's create this Why Time Tour. We want to help you guys bring it to life. That's what brought us to Oregon. That's what brought us to California, and so it's coming to life. And what I love about what Gerry is all about, he's this explosive creative, but he makes it happen. So he knows I'm on this mission of igniting 1 million whys, and I'm not going to sit back and wait for that to happen. We're going to just make it happen. And so it's been just beautiful. And when we're together, actually during the Why Time tour, Gerry always brings me in on a meditation front, the living it part, but I just get to see the magic of what happens. And actually every time Gerry gifts Why Time, like he's literally moved to tears about what he has helped another human being do. So that's the Why Time tour, and it's exploding. I love it.
And
So-
you know what? And that's why you're here in studio with us today, because you ignited in me some of my why and some clarity. And it's a process, right? It's an ongoing, like you said, I don't know where I'm going next, but I know that I'm going with clarity.
That's great.
And having you here so that you can reach thousands through this show and this podcast,
that.
I can appreciate what you're saying about not wanting to keep this gift to myself, which is why you're here. And that really excites me. You'll take this tour anywhere, right, Gerry?
Yeah, so the White Time Tour it really brings it to life, because there's the one-on-one, but then in the community, it's really about inspiring the community. So when we go into a community, we'll spend about 5 days, 3 to 5 days, and we'll do a series of talks. So there'll be a bunch of group things, there'll be some larger keynotes, there'll be some one-on-ones. It's just like the ultimate, we're on this Y bus, and I tell you, it's just incredible to see what's happening, because, we'll leave an event and then we'll get, asked to maybe go into a school and do another talk, over there, and it's incredible. So yeah, we'll take it anywhere. It's coast to coast. It's going, we have about 11 cities already identified. We just came back from California and Oregon, which was amazing. But now it's about going where people want us. And we're getting
Nice.
requests for, like Angela said, these Y ambassadors that they want people that haven't had it yet
Yeah.
to get a taste of it. So it usually kicks off with just an ultimate evening of inspired thinking, where we bring a lot of people together, and you got the whole room in tears, because we go deep with really big questions. Then we kind of break out, and there's lots of photos of me holding someone's hand and in this sea of chaos, and I'm just there present with them and just connecting them to it. So it's really exciting to make it real and bring it to a community.
Wow.
It sounds like such a safe space
Very safe.
to share and explore. And when we talked earlier in another show, you mentioned that it's not about looking back necessarily and blaming what's gone on, but recognizing where you are and where you want to be.
So the why, that's really profound. It's really profound. That's why you're sitting in that seat, Todd. But it's the permission to, the first night is really releasing. I call it releasing. And that's where the tears are. It's releasing all the fear, the judgment, the resentment, the anger. It's letting it go. And once you let that go, then we can really do the work. And it's really going deep to connect, again, that inner light and bring you back to the light, bring you back to why you're really here. So I love the White Time Tour. It's exhausting, I'm going to be honest with you, because you're giving so much. Like, we give so much. And we don't ask for much in return when we do give this. It's interesting, because I see a lot of people, this isn't about, there's a lot of people out there that want to hit best-selling author status, and it's not about that for us. It's never been about that. And you'll never, this 1 million whys is about changing the world and shifting the world's energy. Because I tell you, if we don't decide as a group, that's why I admire the work you're stepping into, we're not going to survive. We're just not. And we want to thrive. So White Time Tour really brings it to life.
Oh, we have so much more to talk about, and what I want to do after the break is really dive in, if you could, and share some of these stories, these real stories of real people transforming and opening up their way to their why. Because I think that, there are going to be many people at home and listening to this that are craving this. I think now, at a time in our world where there's so much chaos and so much negativity, I'm really inspired by the positive that's around us with people like you, with what we're doing here at Let's Just Do This, and really wanting to help others find that as well. I hope that you consider me a Y ambassador, a Y.
Wow.
I hope that's the case. Hashtag,
are there shirts?
I want to be. Yeah, I'm
We need
serious.
shirts.
We need
We're
shirts.
getting the
I do have a
shirts.
shirt called White Time. I'll get you a shirt.
I want a Y Time ambassador. I want to wear it proudly, because it is not about me. It's not about you. It is about changing, as you said, the world. And that sounds like a really big mission. I'm up for the task, Gerry Visca. And you know what? And that's clearly you are, because you leaped and did this. And we all have our stories, but I really feel that, all of us have those beautiful stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's what's going to enable us to change this vibe in our world. That today, I got to tell you, it drains and zaps my energy some days, listening and watching what's happening globally. But we can and will make a difference.
That's right. There's a lot of beautiful things. You can't have the dark without the light. And I think that Angela and I are providing, our contribution. It's our contribution to the world. Why Time Tour, we finance the whole tour. That's
Wow.
another thing. It's, we're not waiting to be booked. We're not
Yes.
waiting for a professional speaking gig to appear. This is about really rolling up our sleeves and working with people because we believe in it.
Yeah.
And I tell you, that's a beautiful thing.
It is. I love that you're living what you help others want to do, which is to live your why. We've got more with Gerry Visca, the why guy, and Angela, the meditation coach, who I got to tell you is way more than that, because daily as I listen to her in my ear, when I drift off to sleep and when I start my day, really helps to put me in a different place in my life. So stay tuned, because we've got more coming your way here at Let's Just Do This.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Let's Just Do This. I'm Todd Miller on your TV, along with Margaret Wallis-Duffy, our amazing guest, Angela Kontgen, and of course, our good friend, Gerry Visca. I wanted to ask you, you're doing this, the books, the Why Guy, you're doing the Why Time Tour. Do you ever encounter people that don't want to do this, that just say, I don't...
Definitely. From the thousands and thousands of people that have a chance at Why Time, they order their 2 books, maybe a third will go through and actually reach out, because that's how we leave it, that all the contact info is in the book and you have to reach out to book your Why Time, and they won't, and they're terrified. And I've gotten this, like, they're terrified of me. The ones that really surrender to it, I don't bite unless you ask me.
You're a
to.
bit of a teddy bear.
I'm extremely gentle, but it's a very profound conversation. I always say the most profound conversation you'll ever have. But guess what? You have to take action, because if you always have a choice, your life's either declining or it's growing, and it's up to you. And if you decide once you've ignited your why, it's scary because you have to take action. You can't go back, and I think that's what scares people is they want to come with it all served up. It's not going to happen. Or they want to prepare, right? They want to be.
It doesn't show up in a
prepared.
box from the courier.
What should I do? What should I prepare? I'm like, nothing. Just bring your heart.
Well, I got to say something to that, because I'm deeply passionate about Why Time. When Gerry and I are on tour and people are lining up to get their books, they're lining up to get their Why Time. Okay, like they're just, oh my goodness, I need this Why Time, I need this Why Time. And I remember once we were in North Carolina on a Why Time tour, and we literally had a lineup of 200 people. So every person that was lining up to get their Why Time, to get their books, before they came to Gerry, I would literally, because I knew they wanted this. So I would literally come up to each person and hold their hand, and I said, here's the thing, you have to book it. You have to book it. And they'd all say, yes, I'll book it. In that moment, there's this sense of urgency. I don't want to leave this earth without knowing why. But then all of a sudden, remember I said earlier, the fear sets in?
Yeah.
And that's where Gerry and I always found it so interesting. A fraction, claim it.
Wow.
And I'm going, and so I literally want to go, please claim it. Don't let the fear set in, right? But we're always so, like, it blows our mind.
Yeah.
You know?
And it is a gift, but I will admit, because I'm always very honest, I'm sure I said to you, how do I prepare? What do I need to do?
Definitely.
Right? Because I'm a doer,
For sure.
right? A
Yeah.
doer. And so what do I do? How do I prepare for this? And so, yeah, there were butterflies. There were absolutely butterflies when I picked up the phone to call you. And I got to tell you, it's worth having those butterflies and walking through that, because what comes out at the other end not only is clarity, but it is also a sense of calm, that you actually got an opportunity to listen to yourself. To yourself, people. And I'm saying that because as a proud mother and wife and daughter and friend and co-worker, we're a lot of things to a lot of people. But having the opportunity, you're not asked very often in this planet to really go inward and have someone actually care to ask about you and your soul and your purpose, because we're so caught up in the stuff of life. So it is scary because it is a place where transformation can happen. So I remember those butterflies, and in fact, they come up right now because I remember that feeling. I can go back in a moment to that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm looking forward to my 2 books and my why time, because like I've acknowledged, I think I'm living my why, but it's always great to maybe spend some time and say, could I be doing something better, or am I here for another purpose?
You better claim it.
I will.
You better
I
claim it.
absolutely will.
So we were talking before the break about why time ambassadors, and I'd love to share with our listeners and viewers some real stories from real ambassadors and how this work and this movement is changing them and changing the world as a result.
Well, I'd like to start by just talking about 2 in particular, because we just came back from the Y Time tour on the West Coast. And these 2 incredible individuals, Nikki Brunell Shoemaker and Chris Saunders, talk about just everyday people making it happen. And they're not waiting for permission. They're not waiting to reach a certain level or status. And we really like to see that. We're not about, hey, wait until you're good enough to be on Oprah or whatever. Wouldn't that be great? But we believe that doesn't serve the world. We believe shining now is what serves the world. So these 2 individuals, Y Time ambassadors, are pure examples of that. They could have easily sat back and said, okay, I'm gonna ruminate on this right now, and I'm gonna think about it, and they could have fear could have set in, and I'm sure fear did set in, but they took action. And most specifically, they wanted other people to receive what they'd received. So they brought us out, and we created these beautiful series of events. But one in particular, I remember this conversation with Nikki, and like anybody, how human of Nikki to believe, I'm not sure if I'm good enough. Isn't that the human conditioning?
Indeed.
I'm not sure if it's my time. And she was also recently featured in our magazine, Definers, which we call a platform for shining your why to the world. And I said, Nikki, when you give yourself permission to shine your why now. You know what you do? You inspire others to do the same. And as soon as I said that to Nikki, she said, I'm doing it. Because she is about others, inspiring others. And when we shrink, we don't inspire others. But when we shine, we go, that's what it looks like. So I had to share that story.
So I can maybe just get a little bit more detail on, there was this beautiful, beautiful soul. Her name was Laura, and she's 60. And I just had my Y time with her yesterday, so it's very fresh. And she was in Oregon. And she really is just at rock bottom. She doesn't have any money. Financially, she's just a mess. And so much fear. If you could see the energy the way we see it, it's all this energy is going to this fear.
Yeah.
So she claimed her Y time. We did it yesterday, and she was just in tears. She decided the bigger reason, and all of a sudden it was like this, like she just had a shower, and it was so beautiful. She was in tears, and she said, finally, first time in my life, I don't feel alone. I don't feel alone. And I said to her, you are not alone. Like, we are here, and you're not going to be alone on this journey. So it was just beautiful to see her all of a sudden this light bulb go off, and then she understands this deeper reason for being. And it's so beautiful because now she's on fire. In the next 30 days, every day she's got an action to be living this. So it's really cool to see that. So it doesn't matter what age you're at, right? And I find that I love it when people come to me at that age, 50s, 60s, and they think life is over. And their greatest chapter is just about to begin.
Exactly. And I actually do. We had this conversation on the phone. I feel like, and have for a few years now, that something is bubbling inside, waiting to come out. That's the best way to describe it. Almost like something's bubbling and something awesome is about to happen. And it is happening in little ways. I'm always, pleasantly surprised and embrace the amazing gifts that are happening in my life as a result of surrendering, being vulnerable, and letting a lot of stuff go, not holding on so tight to what everybody else thinks you should be doing, or what the world tells us, or what your teacher did, or what your future or your past held. It is time to let that go, and it's kind of neat. It's a neat feeling to feel like you're right on the edge of that cliff. And I'm actually like hanging by a thread, ready to jump. That's how I feel.
Well, what happens is it creates a discomfort. And so what you're talking about, which is really great, is you start to get this inkling, this feeling. That's your inner being talking to you. So it's going to create discomfort.
Yeah,
but people,
it
that's
does.
where everything stops, because everyone's like, holy crap.
Well, we don't like feeling
Oh
uncomfortable.
my God, and
Yeah.
discomfort is the only catalyst for growth and change.
Yeah.
And, hopefully you don't have to go through, with most people, it's got to be traumatic. Either their child has to go through a life-threatening disease, or, they're on their death, they get this diagnosis. But decide now how you want to live.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful.
I can feel a question brewing in you.
There must be people that when they see someone who's truly living their why, that experience some jealousy. And I think it's probably, listening to you two, it's easy to just sort of put that jealousy aside and say, you too can have this. You
Very
too can
profound.
live the life that you want.
Profound observation, because you have to suffer. And it's funny, a recent first-time author approached me the other day, and she said, oh, I got to make it. I got to hit it big. I'm like, you haven't suffered enough. What do you mean? You just haven't. And this is my 16th book. Like, this is not easy. We're not taught this. There's no course in school that you get credits for because you've figured out your passion and purpose, right? Which is really what we should have, but we don't have that. So you have to suffer. You have to go through this. And, Angela and I have both been on tremendous journeys. We've both been through, different relationships. We've lost a lot in our lives, but look what we've gained. So it's about, people ask me, if in my favorite tip, if I had to give you one tip, is take out the complexity out of your life. Because if you don't remove the complexity and simplify, if you don't deconstruct your life, you will not live your why. You just won't. Because you'll try to maybe carve it on the weekends. When I decided to want to inspire, I had a staff of 15 people. I had a payroll of $100,000 a month, and yet I carved out an hour a morning to write. An hour a morning to write. And if I didn't carve out that time, there's no way I would be doing what I'm doing right now.
And the meditation really helps lend clarity
Definitely.
and focus to what's truly important.
Yeah, you have to see it, right?
Gerry doesn't miss a day. Like, that's a really important inward work for him. And what Gerry and I talk about, that whole, I don't think our society today, where we've created this get it quick, get rich quick, bestseller in a day, is really serving us. Because if you see anything in history that's been created that's amazing and transformational and changing our world, it's a process, it's a path. And through that path, it deepens, and who you become is amazing. You know that, Margaret. So we what Gerry said, you have to go through, whether it's suffering or whether it's just growing.
Yeah.
You have to grow into it. And so, like Gerry says, we're not here to become bestsellers. We like to say we don't give a rat's about that. It's about doing the work one-on-one, linking arms, and working with people.
Angela's right. Like, when you lead with your why, it's different than leading with the accolades, leading with what we think society. It's leading with the external. It's not about that. It's an inner voice, and it's being confident and just projecting it. And so, my greatest gift is giving it away. Like, the why time is a gift. That's why I love it so much. Okay, you bought 2 books, but they're great books. You're going to love the books anyway. But the why time is a gift. It's my gift. It's my connection. I always say it's about connecting to the soul of the universe. And when I can connect everybody to that, it's profound.
I think, we could spend days with these two, but I think that is a great way to sort of summarize and sum up your mission, your purpose, your why. And I want to thank both of you from the bottom of my heart for joining us, but not only for just bringing your mission to us, but for also giving permission for others to follow along, and not just giving permission, but helping them to do that one person at a time. And that's what I love about your movement. It's very grassroots, and the fact that it's being propelled by both of you is inspiring. So I got to say thank you to both of you. And if you want Why Time to come to your community, you can make that happen. Reach out to us here on Let's Just Do This. We can connect you, as we say in the opening, to change makers like the two of these. Together, we are better, and we can make a difference. And you know what? Your why matters. And I want you to know here on Let's Just Do This that your why matters to us. So until next time, make sure you're listening to that inner voice. Take some time to meditate, love yourself, love others, and try to uncover the question that we all need to ask, as Gerry Visca would say, the most important question: why are we here? Why are you here? Until next time, live well.